the most tremendous new musical experience you can have.
What's up, y'all? It's Logan, and I'm here bringing you this podcast for the week of 11/22/2019. First off, I'll be talking about the same topics as usual. First off being what I've been listening to this week. Secondly being what I plan to listen to this coming weekend. And then my main topic. I will also, right there before my main topic, be talking about the Dave East Survival album, just because I didn't feel it warranted a video, although I will be talking about it and reviewing it here. So let's go ahead and get into it. What have I been listening to this week? Well, I've been listening to some of the better albums that came out in 2019, such as Clipping. I actually listened to their album, There Existed an Addiction to Blood. You know my thoughts on that one. Loved that album. Really enjoyed it today. I also have been listening to a lot of the Rap Album of the Year nominees from the Grammys. As you may have seen, they did release the nominees for this year's Grammys. And I've just been going back and listening to those to see who I think actually has a shot at winning. Of course, obviously, you know my thoughts, Igor. But I'll save talking about that until the end, because that is going to be my main focus of my topic this week. Who I think will win, who I think has a shot at winning, and who I think doesn't. Which albums I enjoyed and which I thought weren't as good or weren't deserving of being nominated at the very least. So moving on from that, because that will be talked about later, let's go ahead and get into what I will be listening to this weekend. Not much is coming out this weekend, but first off, I will be listening to the short 7-track EP being put out by Action Bronson and The Alchemist. The Alchemist usually has great production. Action Bronson usually has great lyricism, good flows. So I expect this to be a good project. Not much more to say about that one. I don't know if I'll be getting a actual review out for that one, or if I'll be talking about it in the podcast. But regardless, I do expect that to be a good one, and I'm excited about that. And then aside from that, I'll be listening to this next album strictly because I have noticed that I have been way too kind to a lot of albums lately, mostly because they've actually been good albums, but I need to get some bad album reviews out. And so, I'll be listening to Trippie Redd's A Love Letter to You 4. Not a big Trippie Redd fan. Haven't liked any of his albums before, and so I expect this one to be a trash album review. Could surprise me. I would love to be surprised and actually enjoy this and give it a good rating. I'm not over here pulling for its failure, just expecting it. So expect a review out for that. Hopefully I'll be able to actually get through all of the 21 tracks. But yeah, expect an actual review for that one, not just a podcast discussion, because I need to get it out there. I need to have a bad review for that album. Maybe it'll be good, but I doubt it. That being said, let's go ahead and get into this Dave East review, just grinding through all these things. I did enjoy this project. I thought it was good. I thought it had good production on there for most of the songs. Some good samples on there. They did actually, my favorite sample by far was where they sampled Fiendin' by Jodeci on Alone. That's one of my favorite songs from back in the classic R&B days. I really love the group Jodeci, so I thought that was a great sample. I thought a lot of the tracks were good. He has a lot of good features. Nas on Godfather, love that one. Rick Ross on OG, that was a good feature as well. And then a lot of the features that you expect to go bad, go poorly, like you would expect. Lil Baby, no. Gunna, alright, not bad. Usually he does good on features, but nothing stand out there. My main problem with this project, and what really is dragging it down for me, is the length. 20 songs, an hour and 18 minutes from an artist that's not going to keep me intrigued for that long. If you could have cut it back to about 50 minutes, maybe an hour, but even that might be pushing it a little bit, would have been a way higher project for me. I could see it if he cut the right tracks being an 8 out of 10. I'd say maybe 8.5, but I don't know if all the strengths are quite enough to get it there. But really what he would need to cut is some of the love songs that don't really fit with the theme of this album, which I see more of him talking about his survival from his youth, how he grew up, and he's now famous. He's now got a lot of money. He's amassed this wealth and stuff like that, compared to the love songs. Like, again, the song Alone, I did enjoy it, but it could have been cut. And other songs similar to that, because there were quite a few. If he could have just cut those Could have raised it a little bit more, but as it stands, I still have it sitting at a 7 out of 10. So not too bad, but just nothing to really brag about either. Yeah. So that being said, I'll go ahead and get into the topic here, which is I'll be talking about the Rap Album of the Year nominees, talking about what I think, what my favorite one was, what I think will win anyways, my thoughts on each individual album and what their chances are at winning. So I have the list pulled up here. I'll go ahead and talk about each one a little bit. So the nominees are Dreamville's Revenge of the Dreamers 3, Meek Mill's Championships, 21 Savage's I Am Is Greater Than I Was, Tyler the Creator's Igor, and YBN Corday's The Lost Boy. Now first, let me go ahead and I'll just start with the one that I least expect to win, honestly. YBN Corday's The Lost Boy. One, he's the least popular artist out of all of these 5. Granted, Dreamville's not just one artist, but regardless, he's the least popular. And that album, while I thought it was good, I do not really think it was Grammy nominee worthy. Honestly, there could have been other albums up there. I personally think it is just a travesty that Eve by Rhapsody is not up here. I mean, come on. It's 2019, we have people pushing for more equality, and that's a good thing. There needs to be way more equality. A female rapper puts out a great album, and she does not get nominated. It did good sales, not that it did amazing. I know not a lot of people actually listen to female rappers, but she is an amazing artist, had a lot of depth to it. That should have been up here. I'm sorry. Actually, that would be my favorite to win it, next to Igor. 50-50 on those. But that would have been one of my favorites to win it if it had been nominated, and I am devastated that it did not get nominated. But regardless, I got way off topic there. The Lost Boy, just don't really expect that one to even be a competition. Watch, it's going to win. But I would definitely say, for it being my least favorite of these, that's a lot better than last year where Cardi B's was up there. Hated that one. And Scorpion was up there by Drake. Hated that one. And of course, somehow Cardi B's actually ended up winning. Whatever. So moving on from that, the next one that I think, the fourth out of the 5, my fourth one would be Championships by Meek Mill. I went back and forth between that and I Am Is Greater Than I Was by 21 Savage, but I just listened to the Championships today, and it fell into the same problem that Dave East's project did. It was a little bit over an hour, a little bit under an hour and 10 minutes, I believe, long. And there were just some tracks that could have been cut. Again, more along the lines of the love tracks. He had a lot of hype tracks on here. He had a lot of some deep content in there. Deep for Meek Mill anyways. Thought it was a good album, no doubt. But overall, looking back and rating it, a 7.5 out of 10 with all those tracks. You cut them, it could rise to an 8, maybe an 8.5. It would have been probably his best project, but it had a couple songs that just really did not fit and should not have been there. And that's what really drags that one down for me. It should have been better than I Am Is Greater Than I Was, but it's just not. It's just not. And honestly, I could see other things being nominated over that one too. It just didn't happen that way. And I'm not saying it's not deserving, because it is, to a degree, deserving. It was a great album. Just, it could have been better, and I don't expect it contending. Although that one I actually could see winning. I just shouldn't. I could see it winning just because Meek Mill is really popular. It did a lot of good numbers. So maybe. Now, moving on, my third favorite out of these, 21 Savage's I Am Is Greater Than I Was. I love this album. It really surprised me. I was not a huge fan of 21 Savage before this dropped, and then it dropped, and I just fell in love with it. He has actually a lot of good lyricism on here for a trap rapper. I really, especially on the song A Lot, everyone knows that song's amazing. And the fact that that is J. Cole, we all know he won the feature game for 2018. His album may not have been that great, KOD, but he won the feature game by far, and that was my personal favorite feature by him throughout the entire year. So really impressive by that. But even above that, 21 Savage hung with him for a lot of the track. I love most of the tracks on this project. Some of them not as great as others. A&T specifically, I'm pointing out that one. But even that one is still a bop. I still enjoy that one a lot. really good project, and I actually am really glad that it did get nominated, although I don't think it's going to win, and I hate to say it, but I don't think it should. But regardless, really enjoy that project and really enjoy that he got a Childish Gambino feature on there. Please, Gambino, wherever you are, put out your album. You will win a Grammy if you do that. In my books, you'll win every award. It'll probably be Album of the Year, depending on who else releases that year. Just don't release the year that Kendrick releases. Moving on from that, number 2 for me, Revenge of the Dreamers 3 by Dreamville. Great project. Everyone carries their weight on this one for the most part. Not every track is absolutely perfect by any means, but every track does have some enjoyment factor to it, and I did enjoy pretty much every track. The intro track was great. J. Cole carries his weight very well. Jid performs very well. I've loved Jid for a while now, ever since I heard the Never Story. Great project there. Also, DiCaprio 2 that came out last year. Great project. I love Earth Gang. Their project Mirrorland this year was great, and they performed very well on this project. Everyone that's on this project does very well, and I would love to see it win. It's very rare that posse albums like this come out and actually do well. This one did great. Really enjoyed it. I think I have it at a strong 8 out of 10, not quite to that level of 8.5, just because it didn't have the depth, it didn't have the storytelling. Of course, you wouldn't expect that, but regardless, this was great. This is what I wish Beast Coast would have been, because I actually love the rappers on Beast Coast more, but this one works. This one works very well, and I hope that, and expect, of course, that TDE will be able to do this, something to this level, but honestly probably stronger, because we all know the TDE artists and their track record. But regardless, this album's great, and I could see it winning. I could definitely see it winning. I'm pulling for it, although not as hard as I am this next one. Igor by Tyler, the Creator. You've seen my review of this. If you haven't, please go check it out. I love this album. I cannot say that enough. I love this album. Every song is important. Every song lends itself to the overall story. The overall story being absolutely beautiful. It's very open. And for crying out loud, it gave us the best feature of 2019. That's right, Playboi Carti. He killed it on Earthquake. Very surprised by that. Never expected myself to say that, but he killed it. Everyone who is involved in this album killed it. The production is great. I know I've heard complaints about it. I don't get it. It's great. Everything about this album's great, and it absolutely should win. My only complaint about it being nominated in this case is that it's not really a rap album. Yeah, it has rap on it. It has a decent bit of rap on it, but overall, that's not what this album is. This album transcends the genre, but it still does. It has to belong in one genre, and I guess it can fall into the rap genre. It transcends all genres, though, and my biggest complaint overall is the fact that this is not nominated for Album of the Year. That ticks me off. How, and I cannot say this enough, how are artists like Lil Nas X, who I actually enjoyed his project, I thought it was a lot of fun, but how is Seven nominated? How did Lizzo get nominated? I can't stand Lizzo. Way overrated. I'm sorry. Bon Iver, he gets nominated every year and never wins. How? No complaints about him actually getting nominated, because he's a great artist. He puts out very good stuff, but I don't understand. How do all of those get nominated and Igor does not? That album honestly will probably be in my top 10 of the decade. It's definitely number 1 of the year right now. It should definitely win Rap Album of the Year. I will be mad if it doesn't. And I am so mad that it did not get nominated for Album of the Year, because that album is absolutely fantastic. Screw record sales if that's what stopped it. I don't know. Screw anything. I don't get it. That album deserves it. Now, forgive me for my anger there, regardless of all that. I am more excited for this year's Rap Album of the Year Grammys than usual. I have some complaints. Eve should have been nominated. Especially over The Lost Boy. But I'm still excited to see who wins. I'm going to throw a fit if The Lost Boy wins. I'm going to be disappointed if Championships wins. Anything else, I can pretty much stand. But let me know your thoughts. What do you think about it? Who do you think has the best chance at winning? Who do you think should have been nominated? There are other albums that deserve it that just didn't get it. Ignore what your personal favorites are to a degree. Think about record sales. Think about like other things like that. Yes, that does come into account. You have to remember that to a degree. And that's why I say I understand to a degree why Eve was not nominated, although you would think female rapper, great album, decent sales, should have caught their eye. I don't know. Either way, let me know what you think. And beside that, also put if it's one of your favorites or like what one of your favorites that you think could have been nominated would be from the year. Let me know what you think about the Dave East album. Let me know if there's anything coming out this week that you would like me to check out. Hit me up at my email. That's in my bio. If you want me to review some of your music, I'm actually planning on doing that for one artist later this week. Maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. Hopefully soon, though. And yeah, hit the like button, subscribe, comment, share the video, all those great things. And I will see y'all next time.